Good morning, Winnipeg. Please have a seat, have a seat, have a seat. What a pleasure it is to be here with you, Terry. Thank you so much for pulling together this celebration of Emancipation Day, the celebration of the strong and vibrant Black community here in Manitoba. As I crisscross the country talking with people this summer, talking about the challenges we're facing, it's really important for me to engage with communities that often get overlooked and make sure that we're hearing and listening carefully to the concerns. Over the past number of years, Canada has stepped up significantly in recognizing the Black community and the challenges that are specific and distinct to this community as it thrives in every corner of this country. And part of what we've been doing has been working with you to make sure that we're responding to the challenges and barriers that you're facing. Now, the challenges you may be this community is facing in Montreal or Toronto, it's very different from the challenges you face across the West, and that's why Terry has been a really important voice for us out West, engaging with this community and with many communities to talk about how we can be responding as a government to empower you along your priorities and make sure that you're succeeding as well as we can. One of the big things for me is, of course, when we talk about Canada's diversity as being a core strength, that has always been true. But one of the reasons it has been true is because Canadians engage with each other. We listen to each other. We learn from each other. We challenge each other. That has been the story of this country in seeing each other fully, and not just seeing each other as individuals, but as bringing cultures and stories and perspectives with them that do enrich this country. That diversity, that richness of experiences is a strength, but it also requires us to make sure we are seeing and understanding those challenges greatly. So when I first started engaging as Prime Minister with the Black community across the country, we came in with certain ideas. Okay, yes, we have to fight systemic racism. We have to stand up against unconscious bias. We have to recognize that anti-Black racism is real right across the country, which were big steps. And a lot of the things we chose to do were then focused on making sure that there were programs for youth, making sure that things we're doing around healthcare was tailored to the Black community and some of the realities that are facing. But it was only through sitting down with the community and talking about where their real priorities were that we recognized what was most needed. One of the things that we moved forward first on was the Black entrepreneurship strategy. Because the one thing we heard more than just about anything else from the community was the challenges faced in access to capital. Lots of women entrepreneurs trying to start up small businesses, as so many strong Black women do. Black men and young men looking to get into business, looking to start off on their own. The barriers that exist around access to capital are real. And that's where it was something that, even as a government that was well-meaning, we hadn't seen until we properly engaged with this community and heard about those challenges. And then just last year I was in Saskatoon talking with the Black community there, and they said, okay, we've heard about this Black entrepreneurship strategy, but it's not reaching us the same way. All the communities and the strength of community around Toronto, Montreal, and some other places have rightly taken advantage of this because the needs are everywhere across the country, but we're not feeling the impact nearly as much in other Caribbean and African communities across the country. So over the past year, our Minister Richie Valdez, along with Terry Duguid and others, have been leaning in to make sure that there are better links to community organizations and leaderships out here so we can make sure that we're responding to the particularities and the needs here. And that's just how politics is supposed to work. That's how government is supposed to work. The work that is being done on the ground, in communities, at responding to needs of your fellow citizens is what government needs to be responsive to. And that's why I'm really glad to be here this morning, because it's not just about recognizing Emancipation Day, that 190 years ago the British Empire abolished slavery, and therefore the British Parliament abolished slavery, and therefore we have seen significant changes over the past 2 centuries. and recognizing that there is a lot more work to do to continue to fight anti-Black racism and create economic opportunities. The fact that we're extending the decade of UN decade of people of African descent are all important things. But what I'm here about this morning is to listen directly to you in your challenges, in your priorities here in Manitoba, across the West. What are the things that your fellow citizens are struggling with? How can the federal government be there to be responsive, whether it's around healthcare, whether it's around access to capital, whether it's around criminal justice issues and youth challenges, whether it's around systemic discrimination across institutions? How do we make Canada better and more responsive and better able to benefit from the incredible diversity that is at the core of our strength? C'est pour ça que je suis tellement content d'être ici avec vous ce matin. J'ai bien hâte d'échanger avec chacun d'entre vous, de comprendre vos priorités, vos préoccupations. C'est un moment de célébration, mais c'est un moment aussi où nous allons travailler ensemble. J'ai bien hâte de vous entendre. So, with no further ado, I look forward to coming down and coming around and having a seat with all of you and hearing about how things are going. It's going to take a little time, so talk amongst yourselves while I sit down at the first table. But I know the food has been wonderful and the environment. Thank you so much, everyone.